Well, good afternoon. I will extend in my presentation extend the range of forecasts. Our colleague from Met Office has shown you the impact of coupling and ocean modeling in short-range forecast. Here, in seasonal forecast, I don't need to convince you that ocean is important. And here in France, Mercator Océan plays a large role in this building of operational forecast. Yes. I will not list the pros and cons of coupling versus not coupling, but just recall the main reason why we are using an ocean model and an ocean analysis for this activity of seasonal forecasting, even if seasonal forecasting mainly concerns the atmosphere. First, the first reason was evidenced many years ago by Shukla in 1991. The tropical sea surface temperature is an important driver of the seasonal variability, the year-to-year variability, and in particular the famous El Niño phenomenon. In the mid-latitude, there is less evidence that using observed SST will put some information into the system, but numerical experience showed that when the coupling in the mid-latitude helps to improve the forecast because it provides the feedback between the ocean and the surface. Because at the seasonal scale, the ocean acts on the atmosphere, but the atmosphere acts on the ocean. And thus, having a feedback between the atmosphere and the ocean is important for the realism of the way the perturbation in the atmosphere circulate along the mid-latitude. So in mid-latitude as well, ocean is very important, but because of the coupling, not because of the forcing. And then finally, we know for a few years that Arctic sea ice extent is predictable 6 months ahead. And very recently, we have shown in a paper by Gemas et al. That improving the initial state improves the predictability in autumn when starting from spring. If we have a good initial state, a good analysis of the Arctic in spring, this has a positive impact on the predictability of the sea ice minimum in autumn. So we need ocean modeling, we need ocean analysis, and Mercator Océan provides us in real time this product, but we need also reanalysis. And reanalysis in seasonal forecasting is much more important than in short-range forecasting for two reasons. Coupled model, they have systematic errors, and these errors are larger after a season or 2 seasons of integration than in the first day of a forecast. And also the forecasts are made of ensembles. Those ensembles have a large spread, and when you take the average of all the members you have, the signal is small. It's about 10%, and 90% is noise. So if you have a small signal with a large systematic error, generally the systematic error is larger than the signal. If you want really to examine the result of your forecast, you need to look at anomaly. You never show, if you go to seasonal forecast websites, you will never see a map of temperature, you will see maps of temperature anomaly. And to have an anomaly, we need to have a reference. And to have a reference, we need to have what we name hindcast or reforecast, which have been produced with ocean reanalysis. And GLORIS is very important for us because GLORIS or NEMOVAR from the ECMWF side provides us the possibility to replay seasonal forecast 20 to 30 years before and to have an idea of the model reference states, which helps to build the model anomaly. And of course, observed anomaly is based only with observation. The second reason is that the predictability is not constant over a year. When we speak of scores, in fact, scores doesn't mean constant score. In fact, we see that we have a few years very high scores and a lot of years very poor scores. Typically, for example, if you look in the last 20 years, we have very good score in the 97, 98 because of the strong El Nino. We had also good scores in 2009, 2010 because of the strong persistent NAO pattern. But the other years, the scores is relatively low. So if you want to evaluate which is the real skill of your model, you need long period to calculate a score. You cannot estimate the quality of your model just from the past few years real-time forecast you did. So we need ocean analysis to make this reforecast, to evaluate what is the skill of our model, and in particular to know if the skill has improved from one version to the next. So these ocean analysis are very important for forecast. Here is a result. This is a Copernicus Climate Service color, which is I couldn't resist to show you. This comes from Reading. And this is a traditional way of looking at seasonal forecast, is to look at Niño 3.4, which is the sea surface temperature in the equatorial Pacific. And this is correlation as a function of time. So this is months 1, 2, 3, 4. Seasonal forecast run till month 7. And you have here in black the scores of persistence, and in red, this is the score of CNRMCM, which is the Météo France model. And you can see for 4 seasons, for one start on 1st November, start on 1st December, or 4th February, May, August, we name this the winter forecast, that is the spring forecast, etc. You can see that whatever the season, the red curve is over the black curve. So although the persistence is a good predictor for El Nino, generally El Nino does not disappear in 1 month. You can see that for the best case for which the forecast is skillful is the start of August. If you know the SST anomaly in the Pacific in August, you have a good idea of what it will be in the next 7 months. Even in this period where the phenomenon is persistent, the model performs better. But you have also the case of spring, in summer. So this is the summer forecast. If you use the SST on the 1st of May and make a persistence forecast, the score disappears after month 2, whereas the model is able to predict with a relatively high correlation, above 0.8, the score of your sea surface temperature in the equatorial Pacific. For people who live not in the Pacific but in Europe, here are the scores over land. And here, of course, the scale is much lower. You can see the correlation is between 0.2 and 0.3. It was 0.8 to 0.9 in the ENSO. So we are not in the same kind of exercise when looking at seasonal forecast. This is a forecast for winter, DJF, starting on 1st November. And this is the forecast for June, July, August. The summer forecast, when forecasts are issued on 1st of May. You can see an interesting phenomenon over Europe that in winter the skill is rather in the western part, in the oceanic part. So this means that having a good analysis and a good forecast of what occurs over the ocean is important for having scores in surface temperature, which is the case in France. In France, most of the climate is oceanic climate. If you look at summer, it's different. In summer, it's more continental. The skill is more continental. The ocean plays a lesser role. And it's essentially a good initialization of the land surface, which creates a scale in the forecast. Copernicus, there is another called Copernicus, which is named Copernicus Climate Change Service, and one project is Project 433 that I will present now in the last few slides. It is coordinated by ECMWF. It is based. So it is a Copernicus project, so it's something operational. It is based on 2 phases. The first phase is named the proof of concept, and it is based on an existing consortium, EuroCIP. EuroCIP was created more than 10 years ago. It relies on 3 meteorological centers, Météo France, ECMWF, Met Office. So this EuroCIP will build this proof of concept phase of the Copernicus project. Each month, an ensemble of 51 members is produced in real time. And we have also 15-member reforecast or hindcast, which cover this period, which helps to build at the time the anomaly and also to calculate the mean score over the past. This proof of concept has started in January this year, and it is expected, ECMWF is expecting to set in line the first product in November, so very soon, November this year. This is the first phase. The second phase of this project is named pre-operational. Now it is based on new models. We will have to increase our resolution in the horizontal, in the vertical, in the ocean, improve our physical parameterization, our soil scheme. We will use a new reanalysis from Mercator Ocean, which has been presented just before. And we also will add two partners, with the Italian partner CMCC and the German partner DWD, to create a multi-model based on 5 models instead of 3 in the proof of concept. The monthly production will still be 51 members, but the reforecast will be based on 25 members, which is a little more expensive, which will allow better evaluation of the skill of the model, and it will start next year, probably in March next year, and this data will feed the climate data store at ECMWF. And this phase is pre-operational. It will be followed by an operational phase, but at present time we cannot give a date when this pre-operational will become the operational phase. And I finish. Thank you.